For 300 years we've called it the food of the gods. Sweet, sacred, the one indulgence almost no human can resist. But inside your dog, that same square of chocolate becomes something else entirely. A stimulant their body cannot switch off. A chemical that hijacks their heart, floods their nervous system, and then, and this is the part almost nobody understands, re-poisons them again and again for up to 3 days. Your dog doesn't know any of this. They just smell something wonderful on the counter. What happens in the hours after they swallow it is a slow-motion chemical drama playing out inside their body. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what that drama looks like, minute by minute, organ by organ, including the surprising truth about whether it actually kills them and the one hidden source of it that isn't chocolate at all. The villain has a name, Theobromine. It's a stimulant in the same family as caffeine, and chocolate is full of it. Humans handle it just fine. We break it down in a matter of hours and move on. Your dog can't. And that single difference, that one quirk of canine biology, is the reason a treat that's harmless to you can land your dog in an emergency room. Here's what we're going to uncover: why your dog's own liver betrays them, the exact cascade that turns a sweet snack into a racing heart and full-body tremors, and a study of British dogs that revealed when these poisonings actually happen, because it is not the holidays you would expect. Stay with me, because the timeline of what happens inside your dog is stranger and more dangerous than the warning on the wrapper ever tells you. To understand why chocolate is so dangerous, you have to go back to 1841 to a Russian chemist named Alexander Voskresensky. He was the first person to pull this compound out of a cacao bean and give it a name. Theobromine, from the Greek. Theo meaning God, broma meaning food, food of the gods. And here's a strange detail. Despite the name, theobromine contains no bromine at all. It was named after the tree, not the element. For us, it's a mild lift. For your dog, it's a trap. And the trap is built into time itself. When you eat chocolate, your body clears the theobromine quickly. When your dog eats the very same chocolate, that compound lingers. The half-life of theobromine in a dog is roughly 17.5 hours. 17.5 hours. Let that sink in. More than half a day just for the level in their blood to fall by half. Their liver simply never evolved to process this molecule, because no wolf on the ancestral plains ever raided a candy dish. Your dog is carrying an ancient metabolism into a modern kitchen. But here's what most people get wrong. It isn't really the chocolate that matters. It's the kind of chocolate. White chocolate is almost meaningless, barely a trace. Milk chocolate carries a modest load. Dark chocolate has several times more. And baking chocolate and cocoa powder, those are the real weapons. Gram for gram, the most concentrated theobromine you can put in a dog. The richer, the darker, the more bitter the chocolate, the more dangerous it becomes. The good stuff, the kind we prize the most, is the kind most likely to hurt them. So let's walk through what actually happens inside your dog after they swallow it. Within a few hours, the theobromine is absorbed out of the gut and into the bloodstream. And then it goes to work in 3 ways at once. First, it blocks something called adenosine. Adenosine is the body's natural brake pedal. It's the signal that tells the heart to slow down and the nervous system to calm. Theobromine jams that signal. The brakes are cut. The heart speeds up, the nerves light up, and the dog becomes restless, wired, unable to settle. Second, it floods the cells with a messenger that amplifies every go signal in the body. And third, it pushes calcium into the muscle cells, including the heart, forcing them to contract harder and faster. Put those 3 together and you get the picture. A pounding, racing heart. A body that cannot sit still, and muscles that begin to tremble. This is where you'd start to see it: the vomiting, the diarrhea, the pacing and the panting, the excessive thirst and urination, a heart rate climbing far past where it should ever be. But if you think that's the dangerous part, what comes next is the real trap. Theobromine doesn't simply get processed and leave. It gets sent out of the liver into the gut, and then the gut absorbs it right back into the blood. Scientists call it enterohepatic recirculation. In plain terms, your dog's body keeps redosing itself with the same poison. The chocolate is long gone, fully digested, and the chemical is still cycling, still hammering the heart and the brain, hour after hour. This is why the effects can stretch on for up to 72 hours, 3 full days, from one bad afternoon. And in the worst cases, that escalation doesn't stop at trembling. It can climb into dangerous heart rhythms and into seizures. And here is the hard truth. There is no antidote, no pill that pulls theobromine out of a dog. A veterinarian can only fight the symptoms and wait out that long, cruel clock. Now here's the twist almost nobody expects. When does this actually happen? In 2017, researchers at the University of Liverpool went looking for the answer. They combed through records from 229 veterinary practices across the UK and pulled out 386 real cases of chocolate exposure in 375 dogs. And the pattern was unmistakable. At Christmas, dogs were almost 5 times more likely to be poisoned by chocolate than at any normal time of year. At Easter, about twice as likely. But Valentine's Day, Halloween, the holidays you'd assume were the worst? No meaningful spike at all. The danger isn't the candy holidays. It's the ones where chocolate sits wrapped under a tree or hidden inside plastic eggs, right at nose height for days. And there's one source of theobromine that isn't chocolate at all: cocoa bean mulch, the garden mulch made from cacao shells. It smells like chocolate, and some batches are more concentrated than baking chocolate itself. In July of 2007, a 3-year-old Labrador named Moose in Minneapolis died after eating it from his own backyard. The poison doesn't always come from the candy bowl. Sometimes it's spread across the flower beds. So here's the question this whole story has been building toward. Does chocolate actually kill dogs? And the answer is more reassuring than the panic suggests. In a 2021 study that followed 156 dogs after they ate chocolate, all but one survived. Most never even developed serious symptoms. And of the ones that did get sick, nearly every single one recovered with treatment. One emergency veterinarian, with 16 years on the job, said he'd seen just a single dog die from chocolate in his entire career, and even called the hazard, in his words, probably overblown. But don't mistake rarely fatal for harmless. Both things are true at once. Chocolate poisoning is incredibly common, and very rarely deadly when the dog gets help in time. The danger sharpens in one narrow set of conditions: a small dog, a large amount, very dark chocolate, and an owner who waits too long. That's the combination that turns a scare into a tragedy, and treatment is a race against that 17-hour clock. Caught early, a vet may make the dog bring the chocolate back up before it's fully absorbed. They give repeated doses of activated charcoal, timed deliberately to catch the theobromine each time it recirculates through the gut, breaking that redosing loop. And then it's support, fluids, medication to steady the heart, sedatives to quiet the tremors, and careful monitoring until the body finally clears the very last of it. And here's a final detail that reframes the whole thing. Cats are actually more sensitive to theobromine than dogs are. So why do we never talk about chocolate and cats? Because cats cannot taste sweetness. They're missing the receptor for it entirely. They walk right past the chocolate your dog would do anything to reach. Your dog's vulnerability was never just chemistry. It's appetite. It's that bottomless, joyful, trusting hunger that makes a dog a dog. And that's the strange tragedy hidden inside the food of the gods. The very thing humans built whole traditions of indulgence around is something your dog's body, even after thousands of years at our side, still cannot handle. They followed us out of the wild and onto our couches, beside our tables, into our holidays. And their biology never quite caught up to our pantry. So the next time your dog looks up at you while you unwrap something sweet, remember what's really at stake inside them. This isn't about guilt. It's about understanding the animal you love well enough to keep them safe. If your dog has ever had a chocolate scare, tell me what happened down in the comments. Your story could be the warning another owner needs to read. And if you think chocolate is the most dangerous thing in your kitchen, I have news for you. There is something far more common hiding in sugar-free gum and peanut butter that is even deadlier to your dog. That's the next video. Think visually. Think deeper. Think canine.